The exodus of Labor MPs ahead of the next election continued this week, with the Premier losing the most senior member of her cabinet yet. Paul Lucas is bowing out of politics after 15 years. The Treasurer Andrew Fraser today replaced him as Deputy Premier. Anna Bligh describes Mr Lucas as a loyal servant with a strong record, and he'll remain as Attorney-General and Local Government Minister until the election is called. But the breakdown of the health payroll system during his time as Health Minister was a low point in his career. I spoke with Mr Lucas earlier. Paul Lucas, off the top of my head, I can think of 2 occasions when the media gallery has asked you whether you'll contest the next election, and both times you said yes. What changed?
Oh, look, I reflected on my future in the sense of I think everyone has a time where they have to move on, and it started to occur to me that, look, I've been doing this job for 15 years now and I've enjoyed every minute of it, and I could keep on doing it. But I think in many respects in politics, sometimes you need to say, look, even before your time's up is the time to go. And I thought about my family. I'm going away on a driving holiday with my sons next week, and I suppose it's time to put a bit more time into my family and perhaps look at a third career.
Is your departure part of a wider strategy to rid the government of baggage before the next election?
Oh, no, not at all. Not at all. At no stage has the Premier suggested to me that, she didn't want me to continue, and she was disappointed when I told her, but she understands my decisions. But it's important that we have renewal. I'm not the only person who is capable of being a minister in the government. I'm not the only person who's capable of being Deputy Premier, and you do need to have a renewal over the course of a government.
You do carry some significant baggage though, don't you, because of the health payroll debacle?
Well, look, obviously that issue was difficult for me and difficult for the government, but over 10 years as a minister and 15 years as a member of Parliament, we've had some great achievements. Just about any road, rail or busway project in South East Queensland I've enjoyed being part of. Our telehealth networks in Queensland, the Gateway Bridge, Airport Link, Tugun Bypass, Inner City Busway, under King George Square and Roma Street, young drivers discussion, young drivers policy with learner drivers, cameras in taxis, the nightclub precincts, all of those sort of things are things that I've really enjoyed being a part of, integrated ticketing. So there's been a lot that's happened over that time, but of course the payroll issue was the most disappointing.
How can you call it an issue? It was more than that, wasn't it?
Well, it is an issue, it's just, but a very big issue that's very disappointing.
It was a huge problem.
Absolutely.
In fact, it was described by the Public Sector Union as an unprecedented failure in public administration. The fact you weren't sacked, does that say the concept of ministerial responsibility is dead? Well,
look, the Auditor-General's report went over this with a fine-tooth comb. And at no stage did the Auditor-General's report criticise me as a minister in relation to the matter. But that's not the point. The point is this, that our hard-working staff in Queensland Health did nothing wrong, and they deserved to have an IT system, a payroll system that served them the best. Now, and that's why we're in the process of fixing that up.
Did you offer to the Premier at any stage to resign?
No, I didn't, and nor did she ask me to.
How would you have handled it differently in hindsight?
Well, look, I wasn't the minister or around when the contract was signed, so I can't comment on those particular circumstances. But clearly, people were paid big money to roll out the system, and they didn't tell us that these issues immediately prior to going live were there, because we could have easily have delayed it had they have. That's what they should have done. That's what the Auditor-General said should have done.
The opinion polls are dire for Labor. Is part of the reason behind your decision to retire because you can read the polls, you can see what's happening, and you don't want to be in opposition?
I believe that we'll win the next election, and the behaviour of the opposition in recent times has shown, really, I look back in politics and it reminds me of Bronwyn Bishop as leader of the Liberal Party federally, that this is about an opposition that the more people look at it, the more they raise questions about it, and that will happen over the course of time. So I believe by the time of the next election that it will be close, but Anna will win.
But you're the 7th retirement. Isn't it starting to look like people are bailing out?
No, not at all. There's 51 of us in the caucus, and 7 of 51 is not a high percentage. It's a pretty standard percentage for people in retirement. I think the far more interesting issue is that in the opposition you've got people like Lawrence Springborg, who was elected shortly after 1989, Fiona Simpson, who was elected before the Premier, and I were elected into Parliament. You've got people like Howard Hobbs. You've got people who have been there for lengthy periods of time, and it seems to me not interested in renewal at all. Well, I'm interested in renewal, and it's time for me to go.
How can you be so confident that Anna Bligh can win?
No, I've said it will be a very, very close election, but I'm confident that people will put more and more scrutiny on Campbell Newman as time goes by. He avoids media conferences. He avoids putting himself up to the scrutiny from the media that the rest of us are happy to do every day. And as he does, and you won't get away with that in an election campaign. You can't. You've got to put your head up every day. But long before that, one moment saying this is what their Bruce Highway policy is, next moment saying they're going to release it after the election, next moment releasing another one. Those are the sorts of things that you can't get away with if you want to be a serious contender, and the media can't let them get away with either.
So what are you looking forward to most then about life after politics?
Well, I'm in comparative terms a young person, 49. And I'm a believer in that you can have a number of careers over your life. I've had essentially 1/3 of my working life as a lawyer, another third as a Member of Parliament, and so I'll see what presents itself from there. But I would like to do some more charitable work, and there are a couple of areas that I've really set myself to want to work in. One is in relation to mentoring and supporting young Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander adults. I believe it's the responsibility of people like me to support young Indigenous people.
Paul Lucas, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
And we've invited the LNP leader Campbell Newman onto the program next week. We hope he can join us.